Oh no, I stepped on animal poop.
Oh, that's unfortunate. What kind of animal poop was it?
I don't know, but it squished flat when I stepped on it.
Well, I suppose that's a relief.
Luckily, this time the poop was hard, so it didn't make my shoes dirty.
Speaking of unusual poop, have you heard of wombat poop?
Wombat, those cute animals, right?
Yes, those wombats. Well, the interesting thing is that wombat poop is square-shaped.
What? Poop that's square-shaped. How is that even possible?
I have a few hypotheses, but if you're interested, I can explain them to you.
I'm curious. I want to learn about wombats and their poop.
All right then, let me explain about wombats today.
I wonder what kind of animal a wombat is.
Well, there are two types of wombats.
I wonder what characteristics each of them has.
The common wombat inhabits forests and grasslands, while the hairy-nosed wombat mainly lives in highland grasslands.
I see. So there are differences depending on their habitat.
That's right. And wombats are nocturnal and live in burrows. They mostly eat vegetation.
So they live in burrows and are herbivorous.
Wombat burrows are very sturdy, and they can be several meters deep.
Wow, wombats really do build sturdy burrows, don't they?
And wombats have a body length of about 1 meter and weigh around 25 kilograms.
A matter long. That's quite big, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The distinctive feature of a wombat is definitely its nose. The nose of a hairy-nosed wombat is long and covered in hair.
A fluffy long nose. That's quite distinctive. It might be cute.
Shall I tell you more about wombats then? Should we talk about the shape of wombat droppings next?
I'm curious about the shape of their droppings too. I'm looking forward to it. Is it true that wombat droppings are square?
Yeah, that's right. Wombat poop is amazing, you know. This is a square-shaped poop from a wombat.
Huh? It's really square? Are you sure it's poop?
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the actual poop from a wombat, and there's a lot of it around their burrows.
I see. It makes me feel like wombats are really unique creatures. Is wombat square poop quite rare compared to other animals?
You know, wombats are famous for their square-shaped poop, which is rare in the world.
Oh, really? That's amazing.
Research is being conducted on the square-shaped poop of wombats.
What kind of things have they discovered through the research?
It hasn't been completely understood yet. However, current research suggests that it is related to the shape of the wombat's digestive tract and the processing of food.
I see there are still some mysteries remaining, right?
Today, I want to introduce two hypotheses within this theory.
Thank you.
The hypothesis we're going to discuss this time is about the shape of the digestive tract and markings.
Another challenging hypothesis.
Don't worry, I'll explain it in a way that's easy to understand.
All right, go ahead. If I listen to the explanation later, will I understand why wombats have square poop?
That's right. Just keep in mind that the theory I'm about to explain hasn't been fully proven yet. It's still a hypothesis.
Got it. I'm winning.
All right, let's start with the first point, the shape of the digestive tract.
Well, I can't imagine how the digestive system can produce square poop.
How do you think it's possible to have square poop?
Maybe it becomes square-shaped through the anus, like a pasta machine, you know?
That's an interesting perspective. But actually, the feces of a wombat becomes square-shaped in the digestive tract, not at the anus.
Really? So it's already square-shaped before it comes out.
The wombat's intestines have a unique shape.
Special? How is it different from other animals?
Well, for instance, the elasticity of a pig's intestine is relatively even throughout. That's why round feces are produced. However, it was found that the wombat's intestine has a groove-like structure that stretches well compared to the surrounding tissues.
Why does the feces become square if there are places that stretch well?
You see, it's because there's a difference in pressure between the expanding parts and other areas, which shapes the feces into a square form.
I see, it's because of the difference in pressure.
That's why wombat feces have a square shape.
I see why the feces become square. But why would they go through the trouble of doing that? Can't they have round feces like pigs?
That's a good question. Wombats live in regions like Australia that are dry.
So, is the square shape of wombat poop to adapt to the dryness?
You know what? The square shape of the digestive system creates resistance as food passes through, which regulates the speed of food passage. This allows wombats to thoroughly digest and absorb what they eat.
That makes sense. Square-shaped objects do seem to create more resistance compared to round ones, making it harder for them to pass through the intestines.
Exactly, with resistance, the passage speed slows down, allowing for thorough absorption of water.
I see, I never would have thought that the passage speed of food could be adjusted by a square shape. It's an amazing mechanism. It's really fascinating, but I wonder if wombats acquired this special adaptation through evolution.
Yeah, that's right. There are actually some pieces of evidence to support that.
Have you checked for the presence of moisture?
Yeah. In actual studies conducted, it has been found that there is solid food in the wombat's digestive tract.
Is that because the wombat absorbed moisture?
Yes, wombats inhabit dry climates, so they need to conserve moisture.
I see by excreting feces in a dry state, they eliminate wastage of moisture, right?
Oh, by the way, in situations where wombats don't have to worry about water, they excrete feces in a slightly round shape, like in a zoo.
I see. So they become round because they don't need to conserve water. They're truly adaptable creatures.
It's fascinating, right? Let me explain the marking theory as well.
Ah, I see. Please tell me more. I've heard of marking before, but what exactly is it?
Let's start with an explanation of marking. Marking is a behavior that animals engage in to indicate their territory.
Territory? Like you or X?
That's right. For example, when a cat scratches things with its claws, it's one of the marking behaviors to show its territory. There are various ways of marking.
I want to know.
Marking methods can include using urine, roaring, or releasing body odor, you know?
Urine, roaring, and body odor? Do they have any meaning?
Of course they do. For example, marking with urine is often used to indicate the boundaries of one's territory.
I see.
Roaring has the effect of showcasing an animal's strength and dignity. It sends a message to other animals that says, I am here, and it would be best not to antagonize me.
It's definitely scary to be barked at by a dog.
Wombat droppings are also considered one of these markings.
Why would square-shaped droppings be helpful for marking?
Droppings with a square shape stay in the place where they were excreted and don't move.
I see, so square-shaped droppings are useful for marking.
This is also part of the wombat's survival strategy. Wombat droppings remain in place without being carried away by wind or water. No worries about them rolling down a hill either.
I see, so the square shape allows for stable marking, the relationship between the shape of poop and behavior. Interesting, isn't it?
From these pieces of evidence, the marking theory is thought to be credible.
Is the behavior of using the shape of poop to indicate territorial boundaries unique to wombats?
It's said to be one of the unique behaviors of wombats, but similar behaviors can also be observed in other animals. Bears and wolves, for example, are known to poop at the boundaries of their territories.
Animal behavior is fascinating, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Such behavior is the result of organisms evolving to protect their territory. It is said that wombats use their territory not only for marking their territory, but also to attract mates.
Wombats are clever, aren't they? I've learned so many interesting things about wombats. It's been quite fascinating.
Actually, research on wombats could potentially improve human life, you know?
Wombats don't poop square, you know?
No, it's not about them pooping square. If we could mimic the digestive system of wombats, we might be able to create anything in a square shape.
I see. That's an interesting study.
The ecology and structure of animals are truly fascinating. Let's summarize what we've learned so far.
All right.
Today, I explained the two hypotheses for why wombat poop is square-shaped.
So, there are two theories, the digestive tract theory and the marking theory, right?
That's right. Let's start with the digestive tract theory. Wombats have a unique shape to their digestive tract, which makes their poop square. The square shape increases resistance, allowing them to take a longer time to digest food and absorb nutrients more effectively.
It takes time to fully break down and absorb food, doesn't it?
You know, I did mention that in places like the zoo where there's less concern about water, poop doesn't become square. Next is the explanation about marking. Wombats use their square-shaped poop as a way to mark their territory.
Using poop to communicate information. That's quite an innovative method. I'm glad I gained new knowledge. Thank you.
You're welcome. Just be careful not to step on poop next time, okay?
Got it.
And if you hear any interesting stories, make sure to tell me.